Thanks for joining us this week on Agenda 2030. I hope your week has been great. I am Toyin Nkamiang John.
Agenda 2030. As a successor framework for the Millennium Development Goals, the global community rolled out a bigger, deeper, and more encompassing framework called the Sustainable Development Goals, designed to transform our world, lift the poor out of poverty, as well as ensure inclusive and healthy society. On Agenda 2030, we take you on a media trip to the global destination of the future we want. With everyone on board, we focus on the people and their struggle, the civil society and their agitations, the government and her development effort, the Global Development Agenda, its 17 goals and 169 targets. We bring you all the deliberations, insightful conversations and high-level partnerships on the road to global destination. Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
On today's episode, we will be bringing you an update on efforts of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Sustainable Development Goals to use digital technology to advance education goals of the 2030 Agenda, which was launched at the primary school in Abuja in August last year. Stay with us. In August 2018, the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, in partnership with NetDragon Websoft Holdings Limited, a Chinese digital technology giant, activated a smart classroom at the pilot Science Nursery and Primary School in the Wuse area of Abuja, Nigeria's capital. The activation of the classroom was in line with the commitment of the Muhammadu Buhari's administration to provide quality education to Nigerian children as stipulated in Goal 4 of the SDGs. The smart classroom, which was intended to be a model for similar classrooms to be activated across the country, as well as actualization of the collaboration between NetDragon and the federal government of Nigeria to work jointly on education Goal 4 and other contiguous goals of the SDGs. The Agenda 2030 team went back to the pilot Science Nursery and Primary School recently to see how the pupils and the teachers are putting the smart classrooms to use in advancing the goals of teaching and learning.
Nigeria will continue to support the United Nations in all its efforts, including the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
This is the pilot Science Nursery and Primary School, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, where the smart classrooms was launched on the 4th of August 2018 by the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo as the first phase of the project to enhance quality education in Nigeria. On this day, the management, teachers and pupils of the school were tasked to make judicious use of the digital technological gadgets they had been trained on in order to give meaning to what they have learned. The Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs, Princess Adejoke Orelokwe Adefulire, in agreement with NetDragon Websoft, providers of the digital learning equipment and other stakeholders, pledged to intensify efforts aimed at improving the education sector in Nigeria through the SDGs.
The children themselves are very happy. Within 2 days they can operate and they can do a lot of things that you have seen them doing. We thank God that these children are very intelligent and all they need is encouragement for them to get to where they wanted to get to. And it's our role and responsibility as government, as their representative in government, and as parents to ensure that we provide the enabling environment for them, to encourage them, to educate them, not only to educate them for the sake of education, to give them qualitative education that will guarantee their future. And that's exactly what we are doing here. I'm very excited as a mother, and I'm very proud to be a leader that has facilitated this to this school and to our children, our future generation. So we are going to continue from here. The item has been, the classroom has been, the smart classroom has been donated. So it's our responsibility now to get more people to train as many as we can. We will have a schedule going forward to train all the schools in Abuja.
It's always our passion to take education everywhere to a place like Nigeria. So that's why we bring the whole team here, and so we can work with you. This is one of our passion. We take everything that we have and work with the local people, and hopefully we can help the education industry in Nigeria.
The school was given a facelift through the intervention of the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs before the installation of the smart classroom. Therefore, the school could easily be taken for one of the top-notch primary schools in Abuja, especially with its low enrollment. But as discovered by the Agenda 2030 team, the smart classroom has revolutionized teaching and learning in the school, while the pupils have also mastered the technology in less than 5 months of the launch of the initiative. This is Victory Agudra, a Primary 5B student of the Pilot Science Nursery and Primary School. She and some of her schoolmates take us through how they have mastered the technology and the impact it is having on their learning at the school.
One over 4.
I've been able to cope. I've learned a lot and it was fun. I learned division, I learned how to weigh objects, and I also learned that I learned puzzles that will help us.
I know how to solve maths in it. I know how to do puzzles. Before I didn't know how to even touch it. I was scared. I can even measure something inside the computer now. I can even color.
So, but before now, did you know how to use computer or any digital equipment?
Not very well.
Not very well.
The learning is very sweet and fun.
Okay. So, how have you been able to cope with it? How have you been able to use it to learn it?
I've used it to learn plenty things.
Okay, like what? Can you tell us the things you've learned?
Like division, multiplication, compounding something, and the rest.
How would you compare this technology and the normal way of teaching in class, like your normal class where you have the whiteboard and all that? Which one do you think is better? Which one do you prefer?
This one is better than the other ones.
Why?
Because it's very easy to use and teach, and it's very easy to use and learn.
Head teacher of the school, Mrs. Rose Ngwandu Gonang, could not hide her excitement while explaining how the smart classroom has helped to improve teaching and learning in the school, while appreciating the OSSAP on SDGs for the initiative. Mrs. Rose told Agenda 2030 team how the new technology is facilitating teaching and learning in the school. She added that the smart classroom has also resulted in increased enrollment in the school.
I really want to send my appreciation to the Office of the Senior Special Assistant to the President on SDGs. Only God knows what she has done to the life of these children and this community entirely of OSSAP. Because before the arrival of the school, of this smart class or e-learning, digital learning as we call it, we have little enrollment. Because people don't have belief in LEA school, government schools. But with the inauguration of this smart class, digital learning, and the beauty of the school environment as done by the SDG under her supervision of the OSSAP, honestly, the kind of increase we have gotten in Pilot Science Primary School is great. It's great. It's so much, parents are happy, children are happy, Parents will keep telling you initially, if you are waking up children, come to school, daddy leave me, daddy leave me. But with this smart class, will come, daddy, you are still sleeping, I don't want to miss my smart class today, oh daddy. So you can imagine what that learning have done to the life of the children and the parents. We are happy, the children are happy, the parents are excited. So smart class, we can't even explain the importance of what it has done to us. It is much. More of goods or more of advantages than the challenges we might have encountered with it. For so far so good. If it is smart class, we don't have enough challenge. The only thing we can ask for is, this part of the place where the smart class is well renovated, and we are praying and hoping that if it's possible that they can extend that good gesture to us in the remaining 2 blocks. The inside, if it's just even making it look beautiful, not just even the smart class, we will be glad. But with the smart class, the challenges are few. But if it will be helping us to our Wi-Fi, at a point one time it went up, but I think it was a technical issue, which is normal. But we are waiting that one day, one of these days, if it goes off, we know we are going to be in trouble. So if there is going to be a provision for the office, the OSSAP office, that from time to time they will help us to recharge the Wi-Fi, we'll be glad. But so far, so good. The solar panel is working perfectly well. We always have light there. Nobody knows whether NEPA exists in that smart class. The batteries are working well, the fans, everything is smart class concerning the digital learning. For so far, so good. The parents now allow, some parents, especially men, don't even allow their students to touch phones. But with this one now, parents are leaving their phones because they say, in their school they can touch even a bigger belente their phone. So the impact even on learning, now we teach with teaching aids because we download from that place. The children will run to smart class and say, look, I want to check something. They get their learning materials on the smart board. You testified yesterday now. You saw it. So the impact on their learning and the development, their assimilation is faster.
Very interesting. Well, because it has given them more insight. It has created more knowledge in them, and it added to their wisdom. Though we know that the wisdom comes from God, but with the knowledge of this computer or this internet, it gives them more understanding, and it makes them to be focused. And most especially what I experienced from my kids for the first time when they started attending this, when they came back home, they were pressing things that I could not even imagine they can do. And while going back to school, they were very anxious to be in the school because there are certain things outside there for them to lay their hands on, and which I was very impressed for that. So in fact, it's an interesting thing. It beats my imagination for such an improvement or such an initiation created by the SDG. So in fact, I appreciate the initiative created by them or by the government to the institution.
When I heard about the smart class, first time it sounds very strange because such has never been, and it's not a familiar word, so to say. So I felt it's not achievable, it's not something to come by, and I was thinking it's one of those stories. But after the first time, I discovered that the pupils were doing great, doing wonderfully great, and I saw great improvement in their performance, and even the excitement to get out of home in the house in the morning to school. That's never been. So the boldness and all of that suddenly fizzled away, and It's a great thing. So kudos to the federal government and the office of the SDG for this great initiative.
Mr. Daniel Naftali is a smart classroom teacher. Agenda 2030 observed him taking the pupils on summer exercises using the smart classroom during our visit to the school.
So we are going to link these words with the pictures. Alright? Yes! Okay. Okay.
The program has really been of help because since the inception of this program, you can see the children develop much interest in learning, and to a point that they normally ask teacher all the time that they want to be in the smart class because they find pleasure and they learn a lot of things there. Besides that, there was a time that the network had an issue and they couldn't allow the children, the teachers to rest, to tell you that they really find pleasure and they are really picking up things there.
It's all right. Alright, let's see the correct answer, right? Then you compare what you have here. Are you ready? How many of us get 4 over 4? 3 over 4?
From the beginning, just it's a new program. So personally, myself, I find little challenge, but along the way, I pick up. And the other challenge that we have is the issue of the network, which of course, to sometimes we find it difficult to make use of the tabs. But along the way, we make calls, and they came to our rescue and everything. Since then, up to now, we don't have any issue. Some parents even demanding whether they will be able to have access to the tabs so that they can buy for their children. So, and besides, we discovered that because of this, the number of pupils in school have increased. A lot of parents withdraw children from even private school back to this public school. That's to tell you that definitely there's a great impact on this.
This technology have actually impacted on the life of these kids in a variety of ways, considering the digital age, this jet age now, and there are so many things they've been learning theoretically in the class that have been difficult for them to understand practically. But with the help of this technology, we've been able to show them via YouTube how some of the practical basic science subjects and even mathematics, their fractions, how everything can be simplified. They've been able to understand it in a more easier way, unlike it were before. So I think this technology came at the right time, considering the period we are in now.
Wow, I just had a session with the pupils in the smart classroom. I must tell you, it was quite interesting.
In the past years, the availability of fertilizer to farmers in Nigeria has been difficult as middlemen in connivance with some government officials distribute fertilizers to farmers at prices way above government-approved prices. In the end, farmers transferred the final cost to the consumers who eventually pay more for food items. Before the government of President Muhammadu Buhari, imported fertilizers were sold to farmers at a starting price of about 8,000 to 9,000 naira. But the President Muhammadu Buhari's led federal government says it doesn't have to be so. Why import fertilizer when we can produce and even export? The Presidential Fertilizer Initiative (PFI) was created in 2016 to put an end to the sharp practices around fertilizer distribution. An agreement was reached with the OSSAP of Morocco during the visit of the Moroccan president to the country. Under the agreement, Nigeria is to enjoy discounted phosphate, a major constituent in the production of NPK fertilizer. As a result, the once moribund fertilizer blending and processing facility abandoned across various states of the Federation were overhauled by the federal government towards producing at full capacity. The factories include Super Phosphate Fertilizer and Chemicals, Kaduna, Funtua Fertilizer and Chemicals, Katsina, Golden Fertilizer Company, Lagos, Kano Agricultural Supply Company, Kano, Greenwells Technology, Akwa Ibom, and others across the Federation. Months later, the revived fertilizer blending plants now churns out a combined capacity of about 2 million metric tons of fertilizer. The 50 kilogram fertilizer that used to sell for between 8,000 and 10,000 drastically dropped to 5,500 naira.
Taki ya wadace mu kamar wannan shekara ba. Saboda idan aka compare da shekarun suka wuce, war haka ma taki ya kai kusan 10,000 wani abu. Amma cikin ikon Allah da Allah ya bamu shugaba mai adalci ya yi mana odan wannan taki akan 5,500.
Processing and blending factories now engage other auxiliary services such as loaders, truck drivers, mechanics, food vendors, and more, thereby creating value across board for all the players involved. With the achievement recorded under PFI, there has been a major boost in agricultural exports.
Under my watch, a new era is rising in which we grow what we eat and consume what we make.
With this charge from Mr. President in 2016, Nigeria is gradually growing what she eats and is already moving towards food sustainability. With the PFI, the government has been able to eliminate the subsidy scam from fertilizer distribution, and jobs have been created by the resuscitation of these moribund factories. It is the desire of the federal government to bring back the glory days of agriculture when farmers lived comfortably from bounty harvest.
Nigeria will continue to support the United Nations in all its efforts, including the attainment of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. I thank you.
Agenda 2030, showing on this channel. Agenda 2030, leaving no one behind.
And that's our package for the week. Remember, you can always watch this program and other episodes by subscribing to our YouTube channels on youtube.com/FreshNewsTV and youtube.com/Agenda 2030 TV. You can also watch the program live on Facebook. Just log on to www.facebook.com/FreshNewsNG and www.facebook.com/Agenda 2030 TV. Follow us on all our social media platforms at Agenda 2030 TV on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Remember to drop your comments and share with your contacts. Do use the hashtag Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2030 TV. Thank you very much for being part of the program this week. We will see you again next week. I am Toyin Kamyang John saying bye.